Hello everyone, Red Heart. In today's story, we followed the emotional journey of CEO Tuấn and Hana. After many misunderstandings, challenges, and moments when it seemed they might be separated forever, their sincere love finally overcame everything. On a romantic evening under golden lights and roses, CEO Tuấn knelt down and proposed to Hana with a meaningful bouquet and engagement ring. Overwhelmed with emotion, Hana happily said yes, marking a beautiful ending to their difficult journey. This is not just a love story, but also a journey of trust, sacrifice, and choosing to stay together no matter how hard things became. From tears to joyful smiles, Tuấn and Hana proved that true love always finds its way back. If you enjoy emotional, romantic stories filled with drama and deep feelings like this one, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the next videos. Please leave a like, thumbs up and a comment speech balloon to let me know what kind of stories you want to see next. Thank you for watching until the end, Red Heart. See you in the next story. That evening felt different from the very beginning. The sky over the private garden beside CEO Tuán's villa was painted in deep shades of orange and violet, slowly fading into a calm, starry night. Hana had been invited there under the simple excuse of a quiet dinner, nothing unusual, nothing that could hint at the surprise waiting for her. She walked slowly along the stone pathway, unaware that every detail around her had been carefully prepared for this moment for weeks. As she stepped further inside the garden, something immediately caught her attention. Soft golden lights began to glow one by one among the trees, like fireflies awakening at her presence. The atmosphere shifted into something magical, almost dreamlike. Then, faint music started playing in the background, gentle piano notes that seemed to wrap around the entire space, making everything feel more intimate and emotional. Hana paused, looking around in confusion and curiosity. That was when she noticed the path beneath her feet. Red rose petals were scattered beautifully across the ground, forming a glowing trail that led deeper into the garden. Her heart started to beat faster, though she still did not fully understand what was happening. She slowly followed the path, each step making her more nervous and excited at the same time. At the end of the rose-covered path, a breathtaking scene appeared. CEO Tuấn stood waiting for her beneath a canopy of softly glowing lights. He looked different tonight, more nervous than usual, yet more determined than ever. He was dressed in a perfectly tailored black suit, but what truly stood out was what he held in his hands, a vibrant bouquet of red roses and a small elegant box that she immediately recognized as a ring case. For a moment, everything around Hana seemed to disappear. The world became silent except for the sound of her own heartbeat. Tuấn looked at her with deep emotion in his eyes, eyes that carried memories of their journey together, the misunderstandings, the hardships, the times they were separated by circumstances beyond their control, and the countless moments he fought silently just to protect her. He took a slow step forward, then another, never breaking eye contact. Hana could see his hands trembling slightly, not from fear, but from overwhelming emotion. When he finally stood right in front of her, he paused for a moment as if gathering every piece of courage he had left. Without saying anything at first, CEO Tuấn slowly knelt down on one knee. The gesture alone made Hana's breath catch in her throat. Her eyes widened as she realized what was happening, but she still couldn't fully believe it. He gently opened the ring box, revealing a beautifully crafted ring that shimmered under the golden lights. Then, in a voice filled with sincerity and emotion, he finally spoke. He told her that despite everything they had been through, the pain, the separation, and the misunderstandings, there was never a single moment he stopped loving her. He thanked her for staying by his side, for believing in him when everything seemed impossible. Then came the question that changed everything: Hana, will you marry me? For a brief moment, time seemed to freeze completely, waiting for her answer under the glowing night sky. The moment CEO Tuan's words echoed through the quiet garden, everything around Hana seemed to stop. The soft piano music continued playing in the background, and the golden lights shimmered gently among the trees, but to her, the world had become completely silent. All she could hear was her own heartbeat pounding in her chest and the emotional weight of the question he had just asked. "Hana, will you marry me?" Those words carried everything, their past struggles, their painful separations, the misunderstandings that once tore them apart, and the silent sacrifices they both made for love. Hana's eyes slowly filled with tears as memories rushed through her mind like waves. She remembered the nights she cried alone, believing she had lost him forever. She remembered how Tuan had always appeared when she needed him most, even when pride and circumstances tried to keep them apart. And most of all, she remembered how deeply she had always loved him, no matter how hard she tried to hide it. Standing in front of him now, watching him kneel with a trembling heart and hopeful eyes, Hana felt something inside her finally break open, something that had been locked away for so long. It was not pain anymore. It was love, pure and undeniable. Her lips parted slightly, but no words came out at first. Instead, tears began to fall silently down her cheeks. She covered her mouth with one hand, trying to hold back the overwhelming emotions, but it was impossible. Everything she had ever felt for him came rushing back all at once, stronger than ever before. CEO Tuan remained still, his gaze fixed on her face. He did not rush her. He did not speak again. He simply waited, his heart exposed completely in front of her. In that moment, he was no longer a powerful CEO, no longer someone who controlled companies or faced business battles. He was just a man in love, hoping for a chance to build a future with the woman he could not live without. Hana slowly lowered her hand and looked directly into his eyes. Her voice trembled as she tried to speak, but emotions overwhelmed her again. She stepped closer, her hands shaking slightly as she reached for the bouquet of roses he was holding. The moment her fingers touched the flowers, she broke into tears completely. With a soft, emotional voice, she finally managed to speak. "Yes. I agree," she whispered at first, almost afraid it wasn't real. Then, gathering all her strength, she repeated it louder, clearer, filled with certainty and love. "Yes, I will marry you." The second those words left her lips, everything changed. A wave of relief and happiness washed over CEO Tuan's face. His eyes softened with overwhelming emotion as he gently took her hand. Carefully, he slid the engagement ring onto her finger. The ring sparkled under the warm lights, symbolizing not just a promise, but everything they had survived together. Hana looked down at her hand, tears still falling, but now they were tears of joy. She laughed softly through her crying, unable to believe that this moment was real. Then, before she could say anything else, Tuan stood up and pulled her into a tight embrace. Around them, fireworks suddenly lit up the night sky in brilliant colors, as if celebrating their long-awaited happiness. The sound of applause and cheers erupted from a distance, friends, family, and loved ones who had been quietly watching the entire moment unfold. In that embrace, Hana finally felt it, peace, love, and the certainty that after everything they had endured, they had truly found their way back to each other. After the emotional proposal and Hana's heartfelt acceptance, the night slowly settled into a warm, unforgettable celebration. The fireworks continued to bloom across the sky in vibrant colors, gold, silver, and deep crimson, like a painting of their love story written above the world. Beneath that glowing sky, CEO Tuan still held Hana tightly in his arms, as if afraid that letting go even for a second might make the moment disappear. Hana rested her head against his chest, listening to the steady rhythm of his heartbeat. For the first time in a long while, she felt completely safe. All the pain from the past, the misunderstandings, the loneliness, the moments she thought she had lost him forever, seemed to fade away, replaced only by warmth and peace. Her engagement ring shimmered softly in the light, a constant reminder that their love had survived everything. Tuấn gently pulled back just enough to look at her face. He raised his hand and carefully wiped away the tears still resting on her cheeks. His touch was soft, almost trembling, as if he still could not believe she was truly there with him. His voice came out low and full of emotion. "From now on," he said quietly, "I will never let you cry because of me again." Hana gave a small, tearful smile. She placed her hand over his, holding it against her cheek. "We already survived the hardest part," she whispered. "Now we build something beautiful together." Those words struck something deep inside Tuấn. He nodded slowly, his eyes filled with gratitude and love. In that moment, he wasn't thinking about business empires or responsibilities waiting for him outside the garden. All that mattered was the woman in front of him, the woman who had stayed in his heart no matter how far life had tried to pull them apart. Soon after, their close friends and family began stepping out from the shadows of the garden, revealing themselves one by one. Smiles, applause, and emotional congratulations filled the air. Some of them had witnessed the struggles the couple had endured, and seeing them finally together again brought tears to many eyes. Warm wishes surrounded Hana and Tuấn like a gentle embrace, making the night feel even more special. Despite the celebration around them, the couple stayed close to each other, never once letting go of their hands. Every now and then, Tuấn would glance at Hana with a soft smile, as if silently reassuring himself that this was real and not just a dream. As the night grew calmer, the crowd slowly began to settle, leaving the couple alone once more beneath the glowing lights. The garden, once filled with tension and anticipation, now felt peaceful and alive with love. The breeze moved gently through the trees, carrying the scent of roses that had witnessed their journey from pain to happiness. Tuấn took Hana's hand again and held it firmly. "This is just the beginning," he said softly. Hana smiled, her eyes shining with hope. "Then let's begin it together." And under the quiet night sky, surrounded by the memory of everything they had overcome, CEO Tuấn and Hana stood together, not as two people who survived hardship alone, but as two hearts finally choosing the same future. After so many struggles, misunderstandings, and tears, their love had not only endured, it had grown stronger. And now, it was ready to become something lasting, something real, and something beautifully unbreakable.